The following program is sponsored by the Today's Home Remodeler television network.
Welcome to Today's Home Remodeler. I'm Stuart Keith, and on today's show, we'll learn the role of the operating engineers in the building process. We'll begin by meeting with Terry Mcgowan, the business manager from Operating Engineers Local 139, as he walks us through this incredible construction project and showcases some of the heavy equipment being used on the job. Next, we'll head to the top of our construction site and see firsthand what it's like to be up in a tower crane. And finally, we'll check out some of the other jobs being performed by operating engineers, including controlling a concrete pour, drilling new micropilings, and of course, driving some heavy equipment. So we have a lot to cover today, and we'll get started after these messages. Like most kids growing up, I've always been fascinated with cranes and other heavy equipment. Oftentimes wondering what it would be like to operate a giant crane and lift some iron for the iron workers. Or drive one of those big excavators and haul a load of gravel. And what if I could sit up in a tower crane way above a job site? What would that be like? Well, on today's show, we have a special opportunity to see what operating engineers do and learn firsthand about their role in a major construction project. So let's get started with Terry Mcgowan from Operating Engineers Local 139. You know, every time I visit this campus, the Epic campus near Verona, Wisconsin, I'm just blown away by all the coordination that goes in between all the different trades.
It's incredible. The logistics, the scheduling, and a lot of credit has got to be given to the Wisconsin contractors that come out here and do it. But more so, of course, I'm going to give credit to a lot of the tradespeople that work here on site. You know, I had a chance to walk around before I caught up with you. There's over 1,000 tradespeople working out here on any given day. This has provided wonderful jobs and wonderful opportunities for a lot of people. There are people that have served their entire apprenticeship on this job site. When they get out of here, they're going to be a better tradesperson for it. They're going to be able to make a living throughout their entire career because of what they did here at the Epic site. Yeah, and what, it started 10, 11 years ago, and the future looks bright. It's going to continue on. It looks bright, and I know for the operating engineers, as well as the rest of the trades, we've got a lot of people that are coming up, and this has been a wonderful opportunity in an otherwise very struggling economy. And you know, on today's show, we want to focus in on the role of the operating engineers, and what better location than here where you have so many different pieces of equipment, including the crane right here behind me. These are crawler cranes. These crawler cranes are able to go from one side of this deck to the other and service whatever craft needs them at whatever location needs them, as opposed to a stationary tower crane. Now you'll see they've got one on each side of this building, and they each handle their half of the deck, and they each handle their half of the tradespeople. Oh, so that's the role of these crawler cranes, is to just move back and forth here and say the electricians or the concrete workers or mechanicals, they need their pieces of equipment or supplies, and that's the role of the operating engineers, is to lift it to them? That's right, and just to think, the operating engineers here in the state of Wisconsin are 115 years old. Wow. Now, when you think back 115 years ago, they used to put a jib pole up on top of a building. They'd lift their heavy equipment up on top of that building, and from there they'd have to transport it to wherever the respective area was. It makes it much more efficient nowadays, huh? It's a big difference, too. How many operating engineers are on this location at any given time? On this location at any given time, we're going to have upwards of 50 operating engineers. That includes the earth movers, and we just started a wind farm on the other side of this campus, so they're going to generate their own power. They've got solar energy, they've got wind power, they've got geothermal heating on this site. It is one of the most modern sites that we've built in the state of Wisconsin today. Well, I'm anxious to learn more about it. Can we take a little tour, get some different vantage points, and talk about it? Take a look. right, Stu, here we are on the other side, and here's the other crawler crane that's servicing the other side of the deck. You can see he's doing the concrete work. They've got the other crane over there servicing the iron workers, and they're setting iron beams.
And so again, it shows the coordination that's required between all the trades, but especially the operating engineers, because you're here to service those people and help make it a more efficient operation.
Absolutely. Our job is to service every craft that's on this job site by whatever means mechanically possible.
So is it fair to say that virtually any big equipment, starting with skid steers on up, is the operating engineer?
Absolutely. We've got the excavators on the other side of this truck and another excavator over there. We've got the tower crane sitting over there. We've got concrete pumps over here, a skid steer over there. We've got telehandlers on this side. These are all operated by operating engineers. All the earth-moving equipment that you'll see on the other side is also operated by the operating engineers.
And you know, there's a lot of aggregate on this site. I was told when we were walking around, I said, where do you get all the aggregate? They're mining it right on site. It's the opposite.
Crushed by the operating engineers.
That's incredible. Well, you touched on the tower cranes over there.
Yes.
What's the big advantage to the tower cranes?
The tower cranes operate just within the parameters of the building. They're typically used in an area where you don't have the luxury for a crawler crane to come around. Today's buildings are actually designed by our architects to have a tower crane construct them.
So when you say, when does an operating engineer get involved, it's really at the planning stages.
Right at the beginning. We pour the concrete slab right in the middle, which we call the pad, and we construct the tower crane on top of that, and everything comes in after that.
Well, let's go take a closer look, because I'm dying to get on top of one of
you'll
those.
like this. Come on, let's go.
Stay tuned. We're heading over to the tower cranes, and we'll see what it's like to work at the top of a job site next.